you do at the beginning, you just kind of pull together whatever resources you have and just make it work. That will get you to a certain level. But beyond that, you need to move toward a single business operating system. And I'm not talking about software. I'm talking about a way of running your business, of getting everyone on the same page, drilling accountability, helping teams become open and honest and healthy in their work with one another. And so that can't be done when you have multiple business operating systems.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Knowledge Bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Watrous.
And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself.
Please help me welcome Will with the ultimate game changer for exploding business growth.
Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
I am a husband of a beautiful wife, going on 22 years next month. I have
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Two kids, 13-year-old girl, 16-year-old boy. Very thankful to have a great family, and into business. So I've owned a small business now for, going on 15 years. Picked up some commercial real estate, started another business, just found a lot of success in the business realm and learned a lot along the way, the hard way. And we'll probably get into that a little bit later here, but now I'm excited to share just wisdom with entrepreneurs to help them get where they want to get with their business and help lead people effectively, ultimately impact the lives of their employees and their families and communities.
So you said a small business. On today, I really wanted to get into the EOS, but I want you to kind of explain what was life or what was business like as an entrepreneur before EOS, and even the story around discovering EOS, and what is business like after working the system.
Absolutely. So EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System, and it is a complete system with simple, practical tools that help business owners and entrepreneurial leaders do three things I call vision, traction, healthy. So vision from the standpoint of first getting your leaders 100% on the same page with where is this company going and how do we plan to get there? Traction from the standpoint of helping your leaders to become much more disciplined and accountable so they're executing really well on every part of your vision. And then healthy, meaning helping your team to become a more healthy, functional, cohesive leadership team, because often leaders don't function well as a team. And what I found is as goes the leadership team, so goes the rest of the organization. And so we get to the point where everyone in the organization is crystal clear on the vision. They're all on the same page, aligned with where we're trying to go. They're making consistent progress. They're gaining consistent traction toward that day in and day out. Everywhere you look in the company, you see people executing on that vision. And they're doing it as a group of people who enjoy the work they do and the people that they're around. So when we throw around the word EOS, that's what it is. Now, my story begins, I've led 4 organizations ranging from 3 to 250 people. So I've sat in the owner's seat. I've stressed about whether or not we're going to make payroll. I've wondered if a key hire was a giant mistake. And with my last company, I was able to work with over 200 business owners and their leadership teams. And I started to recognize that what we needed was a complete business growth system. What they needed. It really hit home for me. My company took off. So I started a digital marketing company that specializes in emerging franchise brands. And about now, probably 8 years ago, we grew 173% in 1 year. Took a terrible toll on us. In fact, I had alarming symptoms show up in my body. Wound up taking a trip to the hospital, spent a couple of days there as they ran all these tests. They thought I was having a stroke. So pretty scary moment. Doctor walked in and said, I don't think you're going to like what I'm about to tell you. My wife's standing there. He said, I think you need to get in an ambulance right now. Because I had gone to a private doctor's office first. And so we went to the hospital. They did all these tests. Ultimately, it was a kind of migraine that presented like a stroke. And they said, this is all stress induced stuff. So
Wow.
after that incident, I set out on a mission to create a healthier business and a healthier life. I came across this book, Traction, written by Gino Wickman. Made a lot of sense. And so I hired an EOS implementer, worked with them for a couple of years, and it was a game changer for us. The company went from what felt like herding cats every day to we were functioning as this high performance team. Morale improved. We continued to grow. More importantly to me as an owner, net profit went from 6% to 34%.
Wow.
So I fell in love with this deal. I said, this is incredible. And so thankfully, EOS created a lot of freedom for me as the owner. But just over 3 years ago, I was able to hand that company over to a very capable, wonderful leadership team who continues to grow it, and it's profitable and healthy and strong. I own it, but now I just meet with the CEO once a month, run through financials, support him. And now all I do for the last 3 years is help other companies in the greater Tulsa area implement EOS in their businesses. So I love what I do. It's very rewarding, and that's why we're talking today.
Yeah. EOS, so that's individuals maybe hearing about it for the first time. And I actually read the book Traction. I think it's amazing, and the amazing book because it talks about those three categories of, and I want you to just kind of go from those basics, and then we're gonna deal a little deeper into that.
Yeah. So I said vision, traction, healthy. So EOS, the EOS model created by Gino Wickman, he's been a lifelong entrepreneur, just a really amazing individual. But what he recognized was that all entrepreneurial leaders and leadership teams tended to struggle with 136 issues simultaneously. But to the degree that they could strengthen the 6 key components of their business, all of those 136 issues tended to just fall into place because they were actually symptoms of a true root cause, rooted in one of those 6 key areas. And so if you know EOS or the EOS model, it's this circle diagram. There's 6 key components. There's the vision component. Like I said, getting everyone on the same page with where we're going. The second one is the people component, meaning do we have right people in the right seats? Right people are people who fit your core values and your culture. You just love having them around. Getting them in the right seats means people that are great at their work. They excel at what you need them to do. And that's terminology, of course, borrowed from Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great. The third component is the data component, and that's running the business on facts and figures, on objective information versus the subjective egos, emotions, feelings, all of the stuff that tends to drive decision making in an entrepreneurial organization. The fourth component is the issues component. And so that's making sure that your team is really good at solving problems as they arise. You got to set them up, knock them down, make them go away for good. You can't grow a great company if your team isn't really good at solving issues or problems as they keep popping up. The fifth component is the process component. And that's just making sure that all of the important stuff in the company gets done the right and best way every single time. That's what creates scalability, profitability. And honestly, it's a lot more fun to run and manage a company when things are being done the right and best way every single time. And then that last one, I'll stop with this, is the 6th key component of traction. Traction means bringing that vision down to the ground and executing on it day in and day out. The discipline to keep marching toward your vision on, no matter what's facing you.
This is good. And here's the thing. That may be someone listening and say, okay, I read the book Traction. But we're talking about taking it to the next level, working with someone like yourself. From what I understand, there's EOS all over the world, right?
Yes, there are. Right at this point, I think 863 EOS implementers,
That's crazy,
as we are called, around the globe. And we've worked with the leadership teams of more than 33,000 companies and conducted over 200,000 full-day sessions with those leadership teams. So this is, I know when I started I had read the book and hired them, but I did not realize the scope of this organization, what it is doing for companies around the world. It's a thing, and it's experienced widespread success. I'm super thankful for it.
Yeah. And that's really interesting because here you are an entrepreneur. I mean, you're not only using it, but now you want to help other individuals, other entrepreneurs. Why is that? Why wasn't just you running your business and operating successfully? Why wasn't that good enough? Why did you and hundreds of other individuals taking this system and want to help others? I mean, this is a whole nother level. This is like a movement. Why the movement?
For me personally, it comes down to my gifting. What's God put in me? What are my
Mm.
talents and my abilities? What's in my hand?
Um,
And so for me, I have a love and a passion for teaching and coaching and facilitating.
mm,
I was thrilled to hand over the leadership of that company to this team who now runs it, because I
um,
don't love get the day-to-day operations. I don't love that, management. I love teaching and coaching and connecting people with the strategies and
my
tools
God.
they need to succeed.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's fulfilling for me personally. It's what I feel I'm called to do.
Um,
So I believe that's probably true for most, if not all, of the other EOS implementers around the world. But I would say as well that anyone who either sees or experiences the benefits of EOS running in a company can't help but want that for other people. It's just like anything else. You'd give a recommendation, someone asks, hey, what's a good restaurant for this type of food? And you go, oh, you need to go here.
yeah.
When you experience something firsthand and it's quality and it's impactful, you want to share that with other people. I'll tell you, the heartbeat of EOS, what really drives everything forward is something called a weekly level 10 meeting.
Mm.
And that's where the leadership team gets together, and there is accountability, there's problem solving, there's open and honest communication. It's actually it's called the L10 meeting agenda. It's a thing. Tens of thousands of companies are using it every single week, but it's a very effective way because, Cedric, what this all boils down to is the simple discipline of execution. Information is not lacking. You can look up anything. What is often lacking is clarity and the simple discipline of execution. And that's what EOS instills in companies beautifully.
Yeah, that's good. So you mentioned execution. How would you define execution? And we're gonna dig a little bit more, but I want to how do you define? Just go ahead and lay that foundation.
Ultimately, it comes down to getting things done. It
Mm,
comes down to accountability. What was agreed upon, and is that going to happen? We got to measure that. We've got to check in and communicate on that. We've got to make sure that whatever was agreed to is actually fulfilled. It's just about keeping your word. Prior to committing to EOS, the mistake I made, and I see a lot of entrepreneurs make, and it's understandable. Like, I get it. What happens is entrepreneurs are these creative problem solvers. And so they'll see a solution over here and they'll pull that in, and they'll see this solution over there and pull that in. And they wind up with this Frankenstein of
mm,
systems that are
yeah.
unrelated, and it's a patchwork. And then like I said, that's what you do at the beginning. You just kind of pull together whatever resources you have and just make it work.
Mm,
That will get you to a certain level, but beyond that, you need to move toward a single business operating system. And I'm not talking about software. I'm talking about a way of running your business, of getting
mm,
everyone on the same page, drilling accountability, helping teams become open and honest and healthy in their work with one another. And so that can't be done when you have multiple business operating. It's really, really difficult. So
mm,
that's a common mistake. The mistake that I see teams make that makes this process drag on once they have committed to operating on EOS is not being open and honest as a team.
mm,
So every time I meet with teams, I tell them my expectations is to be open and honest. Open means listen, truly let your guard down, try to understand what your teammates are saying, really listen to understand. Honest means just say it. Get it out on the table, because a great team working together can solve it all. If you're worried, if you're nervous, if your palms are sweaty, that means you need to say something. Get it
mm,
out there, because if you're thinking it but not saying it, now you're the problem. We
mm,
got to get that problem out of the head, on the table. It's all of us working together. It's not us against each other. It's us against this issue, us
mm,
against this problem.
yeah.
And so teams who for whatever reason, and it comes back down to vulnerability. Patrick Lencioni wrote a book, The Five Dysfunctions of Teams. This comes down to vulnerability-based trust. And if teams aren't trusting one another, then it's really hard to be open and honest. And there's a whole series of events that happens as a result of that. But that's a big mistake, is not being open and honest as a team.
Yeah. What would you say to that individual that may feel like, the impact of their culture will be in this box and they can't be creative because of a system like this? What would you say to that person?
What I found is that this ultimately comes down to what I say, right people in the right seat. And when you have someone who fits the culture and they love what they do, creativity flows. You might work really, really hard, but you're filling your cup. And creativity is a byproduct of that, of operating in your gifts, your DNA, your genetic encoding, your God-given talents and abilities. That is a flow of creativity. When creativity is cut off is when someone is either not a right fit for the organization, the culture's off, they're not jiving with the people in the organization, or they're not successful in their work. Their work is drudgery. They don't feel great at it. They don't enjoy what they do. That's a creativity killer. And so my response would be that make sure you're a right fit for the organization and make sure you're doing work that you love to do. If you have that, creativity is going to flow.
That's good. Thank you. Well, let's do this. Something for an entrepreneur, someone right now that's listening, that's a small business owner. But what are some key things? What are some key things to say, you know what, Cedric, do this week. It will change and it will explode your business. What would that be?
Yeah. So in EOS, we call it a clarity break. Clarity break is when you dedicate time to think. You get away from the office. You turn off the devices. You get a legal pad, a piece of paper, and a pen, and you get quiet and you think.
Wow.
And I like to say everything you need is within arm's reach. We're so often striving, struggling, trying to grasp at all this stuff, feel like it's so far away. Everything you need is within arm's reach. And I would say that most of the answers that you need are inside you. If you'll just get quiet and just start writing about a challenge, an opportunity, a situation, the business, any aspect, whatever it is, and this applies to your personal life as well. There are a few things as precious and valuable as pure thought, pure thinking time. And we today struggle to enjoy that because of the distractions that we have in our current world, devices, and so on and so forth. But there's tremendous power in that. So if you'll just simply sit down, get a piece of paper, and just start writing, I promise you that answers will come, action steps will come, solutions will come. And what you're really doing is, and I'll make the connection here, but you're protecting your confidence. One of the most valuable things that you have as a leader is your confidence. And confidence comes from clarity.
Oh, man.
Confidence comes from clarity. When you're in the weeds and you got 57 things bombarding you and you don't have a good perspective about what's important or what I should do, your confidence struggles. And when your confidence is struggling, it has a terrible domino effect on everything that's going on in your life. And these clarity breaks help you gain perspective, help you understand what's going on and what you should do about it. And that helps you feel more confident about going and living your life and doing whatever you need to be doing.
Knowledge bomb. Well, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, and I mean, you definitely, I mean, you're sitting here, you're calm, you relax. I mean, the sound of your voice. And speaking of confidence, I mean, you're flowing in it. How did you get to this point? The confidence that you're flowing in right now.
I appreciate you saying that. And it's funny because there's a lot of days I feel dumber than a bag of rocks.
Man.
It's just putting one foot in front of the other, trying to be faithful with what I've been given, sharing whatever wisdom I've gleaned. I have not done all that. I'm not all that. I don't consider myself some greatly accomplished person. I'm just trying to be faithful with what's in my hand. And so, to the degree that I can do that, I have a high level of confidence. Um, Ultimately, I'm a believer in God. My everything is flowing out from Him,
Yeah.
and so I do my best to stay connected to Him, trusting in Him, looking to Him,
Yeah.
listening to Him, and anything, any degree of confidence, anything that's good in my life, ultimately has come down from Him.
I love it. I love it. I love it. When you're talking about EOS, when you're talking about, the individual, the leader, trying to really get engulfed with what that key you just said a second ago when you talked about the aspect of being in that quiet space. I mean, I can just imagine somebody cringing right now in their car or cringing in their office right now and saying, "Will, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this." What would you say to that individual?
Who was it? Terry Savelle Foy says this, and I love it. She said, "People get rewarded in public for what they practice in private." You get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. And if someone said, I didn't have, I would say you don't have time not to. I mean, you just can't not do it unless you want to keep getting right? Keep getting the same results if you keep doing the same stuff. So even if it's 30, get up 30 minutes earlier. Can you figure that out?
Oh,
Because
man.
something, you make it happen. It's funny. We always have time to do the stuff we want to do. And I know I'm using the term want a bit loosely, but at the end of the day, you don't got to do anything. I tell my kids that. I say, you don't have to obey me. You don't. It's your choice. Now, you choose not to. There's a whole set of consequences that are going to flow with that, but you could just walk out the door right now and do all the own stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? You just got to understand what's going to
It's
happen
gonna
on the other
cost you.
side of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think the same thing is with us as with adults. We're doing what we want to do, and we're getting the results we don't think we want. But if you didn't want them, then you wouldn't do the stuff that caused them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it, Will. Implementing any big system, I mean, be honest, I mean, it's tough. For you personally, what was the hardest part for you personally and getting your team on board with EOS, and how did you get past the pushbacks?
So I am in EOS terminology, a visionary, meaning all that means is I struggle with execution. I'm the
Mm.
person that comes with 20 ideas, flavor of the month. Hey, team, let's do this. And then 90 days later, it's just all falling apart because I'm not the
Mm.
one that drives it over the finish line. I got to come up with the ideas and I need a team around me to execute on it. And so the hard part for me was staying committed to the process
Mm.
because of shiny objects, right? So the way I countered that is just relying on the team, and the EOS process is very clear. It's what is supposed to happen and who is supposed to do what. And so I relied on my team to help drive help me stay disciplined. I need that. I don't like it, but I just recognize part of the way, for whatever reason, I'm made up is I like the new and better way. I like creating opportunities and making new connections, and let's go figure out this problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there is value in that, and companies need that. But when that type of person is also somehow driving execution on a day in and day out basis, it's not going to end well, or it's not going to get where you want it to go. We have this tool within EOS called the Delegate and Elevate tool. And it's basically a really clear-cut way of understanding, of all the stuff that's on your plate, what should you delegate? What goes off first?
Wow. Yeah.
And you identify that. But what that unveils or reveals, which is fascinating, is that other people love doing the stuff I can't stand to do. And it's what? All right, take it. You have it. Go for it.
Yeah.
And then I love the stuff that drives them nuts. And so it looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
Some people just love showing up, being faithful, 9 to 5. love the paycheck, love the steadiness,
Yeah.
the security of it all. I'm like, no, 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 not for me. I'm a terrible employee.
Yeah.
What it is a mindset shift from when you're running into an obstacle, a problem, any sort of situation. So often as an entrepreneur, your first response is, how are we going to solve this? How are we going to fix this? How am I going to do it? And the right question is who? Who's the right person to fix this? Who's the right person to handle this? Who's the right person we need to bring in? Because there are other people with talents and abilities, skills, desires who will jump into that, dig into it, and will love solving that. And so and honestly, if you don't, you're doing yourself and them a disservice by not giving them the opportunity to do what they love to do, and then also freeing yourself up to do the stuff that you're supposed to be doing. And so start changing that mindset when you run into situations to who, not how. It's difficult for many entrepreneurs to delegate because they've been burned. And very often, honestly, it's their own fault, our own fault. We do it. Maybe we call it drive-by delegation, where you just kind of throw something at somebody and they're not equipped, they're resourced, trained, experienced. You try to hand it off and it doesn't get done well. To delegate, you've got to first ensure that the person you're handing something off to is capable of doing it at least 80% of the way that you want it done. And you got to let people fail, and you got to be able to let people make mistakes. When I work with leadership teams, it's funny, we set 90-day priorities in our first meeting, and I have them write, we call them rocks, and I have them write out these rocks. What does done look like 90 days from now? I sit here and I watch them write terrible rocks. I mean, they're not specific, they're not measurable. It's just, you don't know what's going to happen. And I let them do it. And I let them do it. Because if I overmanaged that process, if I told them exactly how to write it, I would actually be doing them a disservice. There is way more value in them getting it wrong, coming back in 90 days and go, well, that was terrible. I don't know. And they go, okay, now we know what we need to do different. That is way more powerful than me just telling them how to do it right. And it's really, they're not learning. They're just writing down what I'm telling them to say. And so you got to be willing to let people fail so that they can learn. Failure is a part of learning. So when you delegate, you got to give people enough, get out of their way, let them do it. Maybe and obviously it's within reason. If it's some financial or legal or relational big mistake, you got to step in. But if you got to be confident they'll do it at least 80% of the way you would do it. And so you can't be, what we used to say, you can't be the chief cook and bottle washer. You can't be out in the front serving tables and in the back cooking the meal. To grow as an organization, you have to be able to hand things off and create a team around you so that you can delegate and elevate to your area of unique ability. If you're unwilling to do that, you're going to stay stuck and frustrated and work really, really hard and be doing everything yourself.
Knowledge bomb. Will, I want you to do this real quick. 5 great books that you would recommend entrepreneurs right now that's listening. What would those 5 books be?
Traction is the first. Next one would be The 5 Dysfunctions of Teams by Patrick Lencioni. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's some fundamental ideas there. The definiteness of purpose thing is powerful. You mentioned 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I would end with, and this is a classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. These are some kind of foundational ideas, but are, in my mind, timeless.
Man, whew, there's some good stuff. Listen, rewind, get those books. I had a privilege of reading all of those books, and it's been such a phenomenal blessing in my life. And the last one, I kind of was delayed on it, which I wish I wouldn't have, because it really cost me early on in building a team, and that's the 5 dysfunctions of a team. I just read that one last year, And I'm talking the end of like last September, and I had it on my list, but when I read it, it was a key component of my leadership that was suffering. And man, that really opened the door for me, because I didn't understand the the whole thing with the farming and storming, and I don't know, everything in our organization was storming. I mean, it was just storming. It was just chaotic, and I was frustrated. Man, when I got it right, OMG, now I'm able to do what God has called me to do, and that is so amazing.
I'll just expound a little bit further on something I said earlier, which
Okay.
is everything you need is within reach. Everything you need, it's not out there, it's right by you. And this shows up. We hear a lot of sayings: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Is the idea. And I'll share this story. I got into commercial real estate, and it started, I was driving down the road, and I saw all these buildings. It was a busy, built up section of town, all kinds of stores and all different types of buildings. And I said, wait a second, somebody owns that, and somebody owns that, and somebody owns that. And I said, what? Why not me? Why can't I own a building? Why am I not an owner of a building like that? And this just started me on a journey. And I just started asking questions, started looking around. And now this building I'm in now, this is a office building with a bunch of other companies that are leasing space, and I own it.
Oh my goodness!
And all of that happened by just starting to ask questions. And I'll tell you this: that the quality of your life is a reflection of the quality of the questions you're asking yourself. I'll say it again: the quality of your life is a reflection of the quality of the questions you're asking yourself. So you want to get real, get quiet, start asking yourself some hard questions. Why is it this way in my life? And I don't mean just throwing out some answers. Dig, like, why is this really happening in my life? Why am I here? Why is this way? Why is this that way? Why am I this way? What could I do about that? So start asking those high quality questions. Like I said, on that clarity break I know you're going to take, and you'll start getting some quality answers, and the quality of your life will improve. So everything is within reach. You just got to start asking yourself the right questions.
Oh man, knowledge bomb. Well, I'm definitely excited. What are some practical leadership growth tips, tools, advice that you can share with the Lead to Greatness community to help us reach our greatest potential?
Oh man, so practical. I shared that one, clarity break. Please
Gotcha.
do that at least once a week. Get some time on your calendar, 30 minutes at minimum, once a week, to get away, get quiet, get a legal pad and a pen, and do some quality thinking time. That's a big one. Another one is, like I said, is people say I don't have time. Look at your morning routine. You know it all over, that people who are successful have a routine, how they start their day.
Yeah.
And so be smart about that. There's the Miracle Morning out there with Hal, my pal Hal, I forget his last name, but he wrote the Miracle Morning. Terry Savelle has a wonderful book out there on it. She just released recently, The Alone Advantage. And what she's talking about is you get rewarded in public for what you practice in private. And a big part of that is your morning routine. How you start in the day every day.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So as leaders, if I'm talking to leaders, this is the stuff you need to be feeding your soul on. That's where your strength is going to come from. That's where the clarity is going to come from. You got to start there, because you can get busy. There's 500 books you could read and each one has 10 action steps, and you can just be circling the drain, as I call it. You're just not really going anywhere. You're just busy.
Gotcha.
And the real power is going to come from you getting quiet and focused and listening, and feeding your soul, so that you have the right perspective on everything, and you know how to take action.
I got some action steps. It's 2 books, Miracle Morning and The Alone Advantage, some books I definitely would be purchasing. And also, like I said, that meeting agenda and perfecting, when we're having our weekly meetings, making sure we are executing and not just meeting just to be meeting or get lost in the meeting talking about stuff that don't matter, and really focusing on that stuff that really, really, really matters. So Will, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all that you're doing, in Tulsa, and just being here to add value to the Lead to Greatness audience on today. And we are definitely going to be better because of it.
Cedric, what an honor to be with you.
If someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Yeah, LinkedIn. I'm on there, Will Watrous. Just look up EOS Implementer, Will Watrous, or on the EOSworldwide.com website.
Okay.
I'm on there. They're probably the best two places.
Okay. If somebody wants to get connected with the EOS, what is the process in that? How do they get involved?
Yeah, EOSworldwide.com. Just start there. There's all sorts of information, resources, whether you want to just do it on your own or if you want to find an implementer. They're all over in every city. You'll find people. There's 3 here in Tulsa. Really good guys. We get together and get along well. And so a lot of resources out there.
Well, thank you so much. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Loved it. Thank you, Cedric. Great to meet you. Great to spend a little time with you. And it's an honor to be here.
We want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.